What's going on, YouTube? It's your host, The Geek Life, for another round of Anime Mondays. Before we get started, don't forget, as always, make sure you comment below, hit that subscribe button, that notification bell, share, all that good stuff. So today we have a interesting new segment on Anime Mondays. We'll be taking a look at Jujutsu Kaisen, a new series for us. So we'll be taking a look at the first episode, what our thoughts of that are, it would be, and what we think of the could be from the rest of the series from our limited knowledge at the current standpoint. So without further ado, let's get let's get into the geekiness that is known as this anime.
Well, I will also have to say this will probably be one of our quickest episodes ever because number one, we're going over one episode of a series we know very little about. So, for better or for worse, here we go.
Yes,
So
indeed.
one thing I tried to do beforehand is try to figure out everyone's name. I know Itadori, and outside of that, I think that's the main character's name, Itadori. And outside of that, I don't know who anyone is. I just know that he's a part of the occult club. Um, that's cool, but I'm excited by what I see off the back. It seems to be like a horror action anime. Some pretty gruesome um, segments, really dark, kind of disturbing, but pretty intense action too. And animation quality so far is extremely good. It may be one of the better animated things that I've seen over the last 2 years or so. I don't know how you felt about that.
Yeah, overall, I am liking it. At least from the first episode, the quality's pretty good. So far. Um, uh, Although I do find that for this genre of anime, starting off with the occult research club does seem kind of typical.
Oh, it is.
As
Kind
when
of
I
typical.
first started going through it, I was like, oh, a guy in the occult research club. My mind immediately jumps to high school DxD.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. You got to find these relics somehow. But even before he was demon possessed, apparently he had some level of power. Why? I don't know. Maybe he already had a demon attached to him that we'll find out about later. Who knows? But he was already beating records and showing signs of superhuman strength. So,
Yep. And because of that, he was sort of handpicked for the track and field team, even though he showed no interest in anything of that sort.
oh yeah, throwing balls harder than they should be thrown, running faster than records. And again, we don't know much about him besides the fact that his grandfather died apparently,
Yep.
or was dying and probably eventually died. Apparently, his grandfather did not want to be seen. So,
Yes, his grandfather did have a bit of a personality onto him, and you see that he actually did die within this first
hmm
episode, surrounded by just his grandson Itadori. So he kind of
that all.
made his grandson promise, yeah, make sure when you do die, you're surrounded by more loved ones than me, and do nice deeds unto others and protect others as well.
So one thing that I can appreciate though is kind of their examination of mortality. Everyone's going to die eventually. That's something you just have to accept. So the one thing that we can try to do is make sure that our deaths are, pretty, peaceful after very fulfilled lives. They reinforce that off the bat, to the point where he gets past all of his supposed fears. And he runs into danger to save his friends that decide to unravel a relic that he himself helped them find.
Yeah. And quite the interesting relic it is indeed.
A finger
Yep.
of a demon.
It's kind of like at one hand, it's like, really? A finger of the demon? But on the other hand, it's like, eh, that seems pretty typical of what this would pretty much be.
Did you happen to watch Devil Man Crybaby?
I have not, but I've heard of it.
It's kind of similar. Demon possession, blah blah blah. You have this demon force that battles over the body of someone else, and uh, the person still tries to use the demon to do wonderful good things and save the world. And I'm sure we're gonna get a lot of that. Um, we see the inner struggle at the end of the episode after he consumes the finger to gain untold power.
Yeah. And I guess that's an interesting point you bring up. It does have a lot of similarities to other anime in terms of that regards, like Devilman's Cry, and I guess to some degree to in Boruto as well. Although I'm not sure if you can call it a demon as much as it is an alien, kind of, sort of. But
Yeah, I mean, it's when I kind of watching it, I'm like, uh, I don't know why, but it felt like a call back to Inuyasha to some extent. How accurate that is, I don't know, but
now there's an anime I haven't seen in quite some time.
if you hadn't seen the final act, you should watch it. Even if you hadn't seen everything up to the point of the final act, it's like what 24 episodes and be done with the series. Another one out there for you to watch. But I'm excited from it. I heard people, for whatever reason, they love it. I think on my anime list, Jujutsu Kaisen currently has like an 8.8 rating, which is very high, all considering. That's extremely high.
Yep.
Um,
That that must mean that it's a pretty good anime. Which,
um,
which so far I can see why it's been pretty decent so far.
it, I agree. I agree. I think there is a lot of there's a lot of generic tropes so far, but I'm intrigued to see what they do with it because in the very beginning of the episode we see our main character captured and bound probably by some dude that's trying to exorcise the demon from him. Since as soon as he consumes that the finger of the demon, he is now a threat to some probably organization that goes around exorcising demons. So but knowing how these things work, he's going to end up being friends with that organization to some extent because they're not going to be able to kill him because there's 2 seasons.
Yep. This will be hilarious if this ends up being another similar trope to Bleach.
I don't. I think it's probably going to be far better than Bleach, which I heard rumblings that it may come back. How accurate that is, I don't know.
Yep. And if it does come back, I hope that the anime does the Quincy War arc a lot better than the manga actually did.
I'm sure they will,
Yeah.
because again,
Was the ending of was the last couple of chapters of Bleach sucked. Just
time
rushed.
time was short. I think he literally was told you have to finish in 3 chapters. Go. Who was that? Kubo. I think that was the writer name.
Yeah.
Kubo. It's a hard place to be in. So, what do you do?
Hmm.
So I actually looked it up. Currently, Jujutsu Kaisen is 27th on my anime list, top anime. And just to give you a understanding of what's also in contention, we got Hunter x Hunter 2011 at number 5, Gintama at number 4, Steins Gate at number 3, Shingeki no Kyojin season 3 part 2, which is Attack on Titan. No surprise there. And guess what number 1 is?
Okay.
And just to give you the score, it has a 9.18. Attack on Titan season 3 part 2 had a 9.11. Just to show you how much better this one is. It had zero point 0.7 difference. So what do you think that people find to be the top anime series according to my anime list?
If I have to take a guess, I would guess probably one of the Metal Alchemists.
Alaric, yes,
Uh, and if I had to guess, I would probably guess Brotherhood.
of course. Currently, still the best anime. And I agree to some extent. I agree to some extent. But I think that is all I have on our first viewing of this new series. I will say that I think what Jujutsu Kaisen literally translates to a sorcery fight.
Considering what I've seen so far in the first episode, I can believe that.
Hold on, let me. Yep, sorcery fight. Jujutsu can also be interpreted as a manipulating the opponent's force against themselves. So, there you go.
Interesting. But 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 so far Jujutsu Kaisen is pretty interesting. I look forward to seeing what the next few episodes bring, and and overall it should be a pretty good anime from what I've seen so far.
I mean, first episodes of anime, and a lot of times you don't necessarily have all the tension built up, so you have to have something slightly flashy to catch people's eyes. So hopefully they keep watching to get the story. I think it did a decent enough job. I mean, it's initially I'm like, we'll see where it goes. But seeing how like dark a lot of the creatures were and the tone, it seems like it's gonna have a darker tone at time, which I can appreciate a lot.
Mhm.
Um, but yep, I'm intrigued to see where we go.
Indeed. And sounds like that should be pretty much it for this. Um, so next time we'll be talking about just delving in a little bit more into the next few episodes of Jujutsu Kaisen and kind of seeing where it takes us from here. And as always, keep your lives geeky, everyone.
And
And
before we go, supposedly we might hear something about Bleach season 17. Maybe this year, maybe, unless they cancel it. But that's for you, my friend, because I know you were hoping. You just said you wanted them to finish the Quincy arc, so hopefully, here we go.
yes, indeed. And if that's true, then we'll cover that arc in the future. And until next time, folks, keep your lives geeky.